Today, it is time for the Gravel World Championship. This weekend, I'm off to the Netherlands to race the UCI Gravel Worlds, and currently I'm in St Pancras International Station, ready to board my Eurostar. I think you just give them your bike in the station and they'll give it you back in Brussels. So yeah, a little bit nervous about that one, but we'll see. My favourite part though, it was cheaper to get the Eurostar to Brussels than it was to get the train from Mac to London, which just seems a bit ridiculous, but hey ho, that's how the state of trains in this country are. God, it's in a dead little hidden bit at the back of St Pancras, this bike drop off. That's a bike symbol, must be in the right place. That's bike gone and loaded onto the train, I think. Hopefully I'll see it on the other end. Right, I'm gonna get some food before checking in because it's extortionate on the other side of the passport control. Off we go. Of course, I'm getting a bit of editing done on the train as well. Got the bike back. Just made it all here in one piece. Right, now for the next train towards Maastricht. I think I'm gonna get the train to some place called Hasselt, and then it's about a 20 to 30k ride to where my hostel is in Maastricht. Oh, this is a big station, just looking to find my platform now. I think this is my train. Just gotta find the compartment for the bikes. I think it leaves in about 10 minutes, so actually really good timing. It took a bit of a while for them to get the bike off the Eurostar as well, so yeah, half an hour's perfect change time here. Without a bike though, it'd be really quick getting off. Hopefully this is all okay. Always makes me a bit nervous when I travel with a bike, because you just never know like what the rules are. From my Googling though, it does sound like you're allowed to take one on these trains. There we go, the bike zone, perfect. I wasn't sure whether this would be a good idea, but honestly, an hour's spin to the hostel actually is doing my legs some real favours. Especially after all that travel, I could do with it. And I haven't really been riding much this week, so yeah, it feels good to be back on a bike. And these bike lanes are brilliant. Not been on a road yet, and I've already done 5 or 6 kilometres out of town. Made it to Maastricht anyway. Now I'm off to get some food from the supermarket. As with most of my content, this video has been supported by Insta360 and their amazing Ace Pro 2 action camera, which I'm shooting on right now. Insta360 has revolutionised my filming game and allows me to film epic shots during races like today. Also, the camera is absolutely built like a tank, and as you'll find out later in the video, that's something that I was really thankful for. Its huge sensor and really good processing capabilities allow it to capture just such stunning 4K and 8K footage. I generally shoot in 4K 60, however, yeah, it can capture 8K, and its phenomenal battery life allows me to shoot these 4-hour plus gravel races on pretty much only one battery change. So I don't have to be faffing during the race changing batteries all the time like I used to have to on my old cameras. Anyway, if you'd like to get one for yourself and elevate your own cycling footage, check out my link to the Insta360 website in the description below. You won't be disappointed. Right, let's get on with the race. Just setting the tyres up now, got 35 in the front, 38 in the rear. The man at the station actually tipped me off and said he'd showed me some footage on his phone and said, yeah, it looks like really hard-packed, fast course, because he was watching the women's race yesterday. And yeah, so just going for a pretty high pressure. And I got proper dry tread tyres on, so yeah. Hopefully I'll be low enough rolling resistance anyway. Time to go get some breakfast. Something about this just feels so wrong. Right, we're on our way to the start and sign on now. It's a bit early, you've got to be signed on by 10. So I've set off at 9, it's about a 40-minute ride out. So I'm leaving it a bit late, but I just don't want to be loitering for hours before starting. It's so weird out here, like, there's bike lanes everywhere. I'm on a bike lane by the side of a motorway currently. Like, including my ride last night, I probably spent less than about 3 kilometres riding on the road out of the 40 or so I've done since being in the Netherlands. It's crazy here, absolutely crazy. This is the airport where the event parking is. I've ridden out of Maastricht, but yeah, if you're just driving in for the day, that's where you're parking. But I still can't get over how silly wearing this GB jersey feels. Yeah, imposter syndrome hitting hard. But I guess everyone else will be in the same boat. Right, here we are. All looks very official. Get signed on. Here we go, time to sign on. I've just signed on and got my race number, and yeah, I've still got about 2 hours to start. You had to get here really early. Bike's over there, ready to go. And yeah, proper like UCI style start line, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's a huge expo going on here. So I'll go have a look around that, have a look at some of the smart bikes that are on show, and yeah, get ready to race. It's gonna be a tough one, I think. You know, to think about every single rider in this race is kind of like my standard or better pretty much, because yeah, anyone who's pretty rubbish won't have qualified. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think there's about 600 or so in the 19 to 35 age group, so it's going to be busy. And thinking about if there's 600 riders with my level of experience riding in a big group in a gravel race, it could be a bit sketchy, to be honest with you. I'm not sure how it's going to go. You know, I've only ever ridden about 4 gravel races and I've qualified, so you know, the fitness standard you need is pretty high, but the actual race experience standard is nowhere near what it probably should be for a race of this size. So it's probably going to be pretty spicy off the start, but it's going to be a good fun day out. I have no expectations for today. Just going to go out there, give it my all and see what result we get. And thanks to Insta360 and this Ace Pro 2 camera, I can take you all along for the ride. There's some like fire thing going on. Right, numbers on the jersey. Let's get it on. So bike check for today. I'm still on the On one, not the light carbon, because I'm still waiting for a power meter to arrive for that one. I thought it was going to be here for this weekend, but it wasn't. So still on the On one with the trusty old Quark. I'm running my GX axis with a 42 up front. I did mean to change this and I actually completely forgot. So I think I might be slightly under geared compared to what I want, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a pretty fast course. For tyres, I've got 47C Terreno dries on my Oleo wheels. I've been absolutely loving these for gravel lately. I think the wide rim really does help these larger tyres seat properly. And I'm keeping my Redshift stem on, but I haven't gone for the seat post for this one. As looking at the course, it's pretty smooth, so I don't think I'll really need any suspension. And then, yeah, just Garmin up front, and the camera will be going under the bars, as I'm not allowed a chest mount in this race. It's still 2 hours before the race starts and people are already getting lined up. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be much standing around and looking at this expo. I think I better go wait, otherwise I'm going to be on the back row. The UCI commissaires coming around checking people's shifter tilt. I'm glad I moved these back before coming out, because yeah, it seems like they're being quite strict with it. I think they're also checking other people's bikes in other ways as well, it looks like. They've got all sorts of little gadgets that are coming around in this start pen. I just can't believe how early people are lining up. Like literally people have brought deck chairs and are sat in the start pen waiting 2 hours before the race. This is absolutely pretty crazy. Oh, suddenly all moved forward there, but God, I am bored of waiting. It's a long old wait for the start of this one. I think I've been waiting about 45 minutes. We've still got another 45 minutes to go. Everyone's just lined up so early. I've never seen so many bikes in one place. It's absolutely crazy. About 15 minutes to go now. It's getting real. I can't believe how many people there are. But this has been a long old wait. I am pretty cold now. I'm glad I brought this rain jacket to keep me a little bit warmer. But yeah, it's going to be an intense start. I know it. Everyone looks so serious everywhere. Not many hydration packs in sight, which is odd for gravel, but maybe that's because, yeah, this sort of European gravel is pretty much a road race. We've been having a chat with some of the riders in the start pen, just talking about like how different, all the different sort of definitions of what a gravel race is depending on where you are in the world. Like some of the ones like in Spain and stuff are pretty extreme, and then you've got these ones up in the Netherlands that are just like road races with a few farm tracks. But yeah, it's going to be good fun.
30 voor de Firebox en de deze mannen met de grijze nummers 19 tot de 34 jaar. 3, 2, 1, 0. Dat zijn er veel prachtige beelden om te zien. Wanneer wij hier al die kleuren van de hele wereld.
And we are off onto the first road section. It was utter relentless chaos. constant stopping and starting, people slamming the brakes on to avoid crashes. Unfortunately, a few riders did go down here and stopping and starting. But it really was an experience. It was just like you'd imagine some of these chaotic moments in the Spring Classics to be, ducking and diving between road furniture through the towns in the Netherlands. But before long we were going up a hill and it was fast. I think I was doing around 450, 500 watts here and are still losing positions. I couldn't believe just how fast we were going from the gun. Everyone was pretty much sprinting. I think they'd all forgotten there was 180 kilometers to go. But it did level out a bit, and then again drilling it on the flat, just trying to hold on to the wheels the best I could. But even that was a pretty tall order. As per usual, when there's this many riders, the second we go to swing onto the narrow gravel road, it all bunches up. And unfortunately, it was going so slow here. As soon as someone pulls a foot out, everybody gets stuck. And yeah, it was pretty stop-start and pretty difficult to weave through. I did manage to gain a few positions here, but that was about it. But before long, we were through the congestion and onto the open gravel roads. But still, there were so many riders around that the second one person makes a mistake, it holds the whole field up. My goal here was just to stay nice and safe, tucked in the bunch, and try and be as efficient as possible. And here, it was a bit of a controversial moment where a load of riders decided to try and cut the corner off riding across a field. I wasn't a fan of this, and actually where they were rejoining further down did create another big block up. I'm surprised there was no marshal on that corner, to be honest with you. But yeah, once we were through with that, it was just non-stop gravel roads. Although, as you can see from these gravel roads, they are a lot more tame than the gravel we have back home generally, as they're pretty well-groomed farm tracks that are pretty hard-packed. So pretty much nothing technical at play at all. You probably could have survived this on a road bike with decently wide tyres. No wonder there weren't many 2.2 inch mountain bike tyres here today. I can imagine most Americans would not be very impressed with the course. Suddenly we were swinging left back onto the road, and yeah, the race was fully on. Fortunately the field had thinned out a little bit now and the groups were a bit smaller, so it was slightly less chaotic, but it was still no joke. You had to be laser sharp with your concentration, watching out for any sudden little ruts or any little congestions or slamming of the brakes. But the crowds were incredible. It genuinely was like being in a professional bike race. I guess that's because there was a professional bike race just up ahead of us. But yet again, there was another narrowing up this first steep climb, and again, as soon as someone pulls a foot out, everyone got stuck behind. So I could see it was a real big advantage to be at the front of the field early on if you were fit enough. However, we were soon up the climb and everything was moving again. It was at this point though I realised just how much I was suffering. I was going backwards. As you can see riders with pink numbers around me. That's because we've been caught by the 35 to 40-year-old group. And yeah, that wasn't the first group that was going to catch me today. But coming out onto these open plains, it was stunning. It was really something unlike any other cycling I'd done before. Absolutely drilling it down these farm tracks through this open farmland. It was just, yeah, breathtaking. Quite a bit of dust being kicked up, but nowhere near as bad as some races I've done. However, as you might notice, I'm going backwards here, being passed by rider after rider after rider. Every time a group caught me, I was really struggling to sit on the wheel. As much as I tried, I still couldn't even hold the wheel on the flat. However, I was still enjoying the day out and soaking in the scenery and the atmosphere of all the crowds cheering you on. And this was the most incredible part. In this little village around the duck pond, there was a left turn with tons of crowds about where they had a fan zone set up. And then, in typical safe UCI course design, we had to go through this little courtyard with another fan zone. But to be honest with you, I wasn't very impressed with the safety of the exit. It was extremely tight and yet again caused the congestion in the field. I'm not really sure why we had to go through this little sort of archway, but I don't think that was necessary for the course and could have just caused a crash. I did, however, get through it without any incident. After this point, we were back on the road and ready to pass through the end of the first lap. On the second lap though, my form did definitely take a bit of a turn for the worse. Sweat was dripping off my forehead and I was absolutely exhausted. I knew right now it definitely wasn't going to be a highlight performance for me today, but I was determined not to give up yet. Keep plodding on, find a group that I could finally work with and try and just sit in and get some miles done. Don't really know what to say. I'm gonna have to stop. There's something just not right with my body. I've just been sat hidden behind a bush for like 20 minutes. I'm not right. I'm just really not right. I mean, I'll let you in on something. I've pretty much spent the past 3 or 4 weeks going to and from the doctors non-stop, being tested for all sorts of stuff, because my body's just really not happy with something, and I don't know what it is, and I need to figure it out. And I mean, today's just shown. I knew 5 or 10 minutes in that just something is not firing with my body. Like, you know, there's a few guys I recognise that normally I'm absolutely no problems riding with, or, you know, looking at my results, I normally can do, you know, put decent time, and I know everyone's good here, but just like they're flying past me and I just couldn't do anything. And I feel like I'm not well. I'm not well. But I gave it a go, and I'm glad I gave it a go. But yeah, I'm going to call it a day. Yeah, it's a shame. But yeah, it's a shame. But yeah, I can't do it today. And I toyed with, oh, do I just gravel round and finish? But still 110k to go. I'm going to cause myself some real trouble groveling through that. It's not smart. I just need to go and just lie down. Nah. And now this is where it all went a bit wrong. Normally in gravel races, I shoot on a chest mount to allow me to get the best sort of POV with my Ace Pro 2. However, I had it mounted on the underside of my Garmin mount. Due to it being a race regulation, you can't use a chest mount here. But the mount adapter from Garmin I was using, as you can probably hear in a lot of the rattly shots in the video, wasn't really designed for action cameras and really was not up for the task. So unfortunately, as you just saw, my Ace Pro 2 went flying. I was probably doing around 35 kilometers an hour at this point, and it smacked right onto the ground, unfortunately shattering the lens guard. When you heard the little expletive I said when I picked the camera up, I thought it was game over for the Ace Pro 2, as I saw a smashed lens and I thought that was it. But actually, it's a really clever design from Insta360 that you can twist off the lens cover and just replace it. So that's a little sacrificial part, almost a bit like a derailleur hanger. And now you'd think a camera with a flippy screen and a little extra display on the front would be really fragile, wouldn't you? But the rest of the camera is pretty much intact. There's a little ding on the wing guard, which again is another cheaply replaceable part. And yeah, just that damage to the lens cover. So I'm actually so impressed with its ruggedness. And even though the race hasn't gone perfectly to plan, has really saved me there. But yeah, onto my performance then. It was not the one. I've noticed the past like month or so, my performance has really been dropping. And it is such a shame that I had to call it a day there. However, it was the smart choice. If I was suffering that much 60 kilometres into a 180 kilometre race, and let's put it this way, I was pretty much one of the last riders out of my field and all the age groups behind me at this point, there was just no point grovelling on. I would have probably made myself really ill or just caused myself even more trouble than I had. So I had to make the rational decision and call it a day when I did. Now, yes, it sucks. I've travelled all the way out there, 2 full travel days, probably the best part of 500 quid spent on getting out there to film this race. And I had to give up. But it was an amazing experience. And to be honest with you, outside of professional racing or the end of a national hill climb championships, you just don't get to race with crowds like that around. It genuinely felt like I was in a spring classic riding this race. And that's just something you don't get as an amateur rider that often. So if you've ever got the opportunity to go out to one of these World Championship gravel races, I would strongly encourage you to. As yeah, it's just pretty epic being able to ride only 5 minutes behind the professionals. Okay, by the points later in the race, I was a lot more than 5 minutes behind. But, to be part of that spectacle was really cool, even if it does feel a little bit wishy-washy calling it a World Championships for my race. But I'm not going to let this little disappointment defeat me. I'm going to get back training hard over the winter, getting them base miles in, and I'm going to try and peak a little bit later next year, as I think my form is just running out. So if you want to see all my racing progress next year, and who knows, I don't think I'll be going to the Worlds since it's in Australia, but you never know, maybe my circumstances will change and I will be able to get out there. But I will definitely be riding a lot of the World Series and maybe some of these new gravel races that are going to be popping up all around the UK. And yeah, once again, thanks so much to Insta360 and their awesome cameras for supporting the channel and getting me out to races like this. Get yourself subscribed and I'll see you all in the next one.